France, the defence concerns. Macron has been really this pillar, hasn't he, within the EU, pushing for greater coordination in terms of defence and also pushing the line in terms of how far EU nations and France should go in supporting Ukraine. What is the fragility now in terms of the French support for that country and defence more broadly across the bloc?
That's right. Ever since 2017, when he came to power with the European anthem, Ode to Joy, Macron has really tried to show himself as the leader of Europe. And when it comes to Ukraine, of course, he's always been a big advocate of sending more military support, spending more to support Ukraine. Recently, he actually said that France could send some Mirage military planes and some army instructors to Ukraine. Now, that is something that Marine Le Pen has said that she is opposed to. And even though Marine Le Pen, as you know, has been trying to distance herself from the Russian President Vladimir Putin recently, remember back in 2017, she did get a loan from a Russian bank in order to finance her campaign at the time. Now, a lot has changed, of course, since then. A lot of EU leaders are concerned about fading spending for defense. Macron himself has pledged 3 billion euros to Ukraine for this year, so we don't know if these 3 billion euros are at risk quite yet, but it's hard to imagine that just 2 weeks ago you had President Zelensky in Normandy for the anniversary of D-Day.
Indeed. Caroline, what do the polls say? What are the latest polls saying about the challenges that face President Macron from the left and from the right?
One actually very interesting poll from last night for IFOP, for LCI TV channel, is showing that the National Rally support is actually down 2 points at 33%, and the support for this alliance of left-wing, the so-called New Popular Front, is gaining 2 points at 28%. So the two blocs are edging closer to each other, with Macron's party a distant third with around 18% in the polls at the moment. A hung parliament, therefore, is a central scenario for many analysts. In fact, Macron's party has decided to not present any candidate in 10% of the constituencies in order for the more moderate from the right and the left to have better chances to access the second round on July 7. But the presence of the far left, of course, in this alliance of the left is a turnoff for many moderate center-left voters. In fact, you heard from a very famous Jewish historian, Serge Klarsfeld, over the weekend, who was saying that the anti-Semitic tone of some of the far-left candidates actually will make it very hard for him in a second round between the extremes. I mean, he may have to choose Marine Le Pen in the second round. So quite a nasty political battles for the next couple of weeks here in France.
Yeah, to say the least. What about the economic challenges then? What are some of the policy impact in terms of the economic agenda of the current government and how that could potentially be derailed?
So Marine Le Pen and Jordan Bardella, they haven't really presented detailed yet their economic program. They say, actually, Marine Le Pen said over the weekend it was going to be quite reasonable. So we'll have to see the details. But some economists are worried that it could mean an increase of 100 basis points above what the market currently prices in terms of borrowing costs for France. It could also mean an increase of the debt to GDP ratio. Currently, it's around 110%. This could actually jump to 147% if a far right comes to power. Now, if you look at the Union of the Left, they have detailed already their economic program, and they also have some very costly measures, such as blocking the prices of essential products ending all trade deals, that's what they say, and also abandoning, for example, the flat tax of 30% on capital, which means there is currently a ceiling on how much taxes you can put on capital. So also some concerns for investors. We don't have yet the exact cost, but in 2022, the Institut Montaigne had estimated that Marine Le Pen's presidential program at the time would cost 100 billion euros, and that Mélenchon's program for the far left at the time would cost more than 200 billion euros. So it's hard to tell exactly if the markets are really going to calm down over the next few weeks.